Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the A1 Air Quality Consultants post-game call-in show, presented to you by our friends over at A1 Air Quality Consultants. Buying property, remodeling, maybe thinking about purchasing a second home or an investment property. Have A1 Air Quality Consultants perform asbestos testing before purchasing or renovating for safety of all parties involved. Give them a call or text today at 864-619-2092. That's 864-619-2092. You can also shoot them an email at a1airqualityconsultants@gmail.com, and be sure to head over to their website, a1airqualityconsultants.com, and give them a follow on social media as well. Be sure to check them out and tell them that Chris from the Spurs Up Show sent you. Let's get it. Ladies and gents, boys and girls, we are live here on the A1 Air Quality Consultants post-game call-in show. First things first, I want to say thank you to our friends over at A1 Air Quality Consultants for making this possible. Their love and support of the Spurs Up Show. A big win, South Carolina, 41-point dub over the Vanderbilt Commodores, as we mentioned this week. Death, taxes, and Gamecocks football beating Vandy. Guys, I want to hear from you, 843-790-3377. The phone lines are officially open. I see you all in the comments, guys. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I want you to chime in, hear from you. Again, a complete team win for South Carolina. You get back-to-back wins, first time all season. And, guys, really what this serves as is the confidence builder you needed going into Vanderbilt and Clemson, right? Or excuse me, Kentucky and Clemson. So let's go ahead and jump right to the phone lines here.
Thomas from Irmo.
Thomas from Irmo, you're on the air.
Well, Chris, it's a lot better story when I call you today from 2 weeks ago. You know, we called after that A&M game, and you know, we talked about how we feel like we still stuck in the Brad Scott era. You know, the way we were playing, but all around today, great team effort. There was still some skittish moments throughout the game, but I want to go ahead and say it, and let's get this bandwagon going. But the Lenor Sellers train, we got to get that kid on the field. There's no doubt about it. My wife will tell you, and I'll tell you, we've been waiting to see him out there all year. The kid is a baller. He can run. He can throw. The future is bright for him. But the rest of the team, I'm glad to see what they did today. Hey, you know, we still have an opportunity to go to a bowl game and make some momentum. You know, that upstate school, they're playing their best ball. It's going to be tough to beat them that last game of the year. I definitely think we can beat Kentucky, but we're going to have to play flawless to beat Clemson that last game of the year. But we can do it. Go Cox and have a good one. But let's talk about Sellers, though, real quick, Chris. Your thoughts on him as well. Have a good one, man.
Yeah, man, I appreciate the call. Thank you so much. And Lenor Sellers, yeah, I mean, I said it back, guys, in the Furman game, and we got a glimpse of Lenor Sellers then, and I'm really glad that Shane Beamer and company decided to put him in at the end of that game. Number one, that game was fully in hand. You don't want to risk injury to Spencer Rattler or any starters, but, you know, getting Lenor Sellers reps, right? You've got game reps to use. He can still get his red shirt, and no, that was awesome to see. I mean, the guy, you know, he's a big physical kid. He's still a kid. That's the thing. But so you think about what another year in the weight room will do for him. But, I mean, the future's bright for sure, man. I mean, he's got all the tools. He's got all the athleticism. He's got the strength. He's got the size, speed, what have you, arm strength. So, you know, not to project too far ahead or start talking about Shane Beamer and the future of his tenure, but, like, it really does feel like the future of Shane Beamer's tenure relies very heavily on getting the most out of Lenor Sellers and him playing well and winning a lot of games with Lenor Sellers, because I think most Gamecock fans are convinced in their minds, no matter what, that Lenor Sellers is the dude to take South Carolina football to the next level. So we'll see. We'll see if he's that guy. But there's a lot of promising things early on, man. I mean, again, you see that run, the physicality, right, breaking the tackles. We saw it in the Furman game. So it's impossible. Again, guys, this game felt a lot like that Furman game where It's a complete team effort. And by the way, guys, the phone lines are back open, 843-790-3377. It's a complete team effort. You get a bunch of guys out there. Feels good. You find some joy in a game like this. Hunter, you're on the air.
Yo, what about Lenor Sellers out there, baby?
He looked good, man. He looked good. Yeah, the future's bright with Lenor Sellers.
I'm telling you, he's going to take us to the top. It might be an early prediction, but seeing that quarterback play the way he did, I'm just telling you, he's going to take us there. Next year, he's going to be developed. He's going to be through the program for a year, and I mean, he's looking good, man.
To the moon, man. Why not? I mean, he's got the tools. So,
hey, I'm telling you, I mean, I've never seen anything like it.
If they can get some weapons around him and get an offensive line to block for him, he's got a real chance.
Yeah, that's the big thing. They got to get some weapons to throw to.
Mm-hmm.
Got to.
Indeed. It was fun to see him out there either way, man. It's again, to get a glimpse into the future like that, that's what it provides to insert a guy like that late in a blowout game. And yeah, it's impossible to not be excited about the future of South Carolina football at that position when you watch Lenor Sellers do that. So happy he got that experience. And, again, I think it's good, too, to get him experience because obviously going into spring, quarterback battle is going to be the top topic of conversation. And you don't want a guy out there who's never seen the field. So, it was great to see. So
that's right. He's a freaking dog.
Indeed. All right, we're going to open it back up, guys. 843-790-3377. I'm excited. Let me say this. I'm excited about Lenor Sellers too, guys. Forgive me, though, I'm not going to overreact because I think that's happened a lot in South Carolina where the next guy is anointed as the savior, and it's like, let's just let him progress. You know what I mean? Just let him progress. Let him learn. There will be times to discuss what South Carolina football likes Lenor Sellers. Right now, he looks great in that backup duty and
John Edward
showing off his potential. John Edward, you're on the air.
Hey, dude, I said to my dad after that game was over, I don't care who you're playing, that was fun.
That was a fun game. I mean, anytime you win by 41 points, that was more dominating than the Furman game. So that was. Yeah, I think that was by far the most fun game this season for South Carolina for sure.
Yeah, let me ask you this real quick. What was the spread? It was 13 or 14?
Yeah, it was 14 points. About 14 points.
Yeah, way worse than that.
Yeah, I mean,
I
felt really good coming in. I picked I think it was a 17-point win, but I felt really good in that South Carolina would cover. Thought this one might turn into a blowout, and especially with the weather. I mean, Vandy the only way to score today, and I know the Gamecocks had some explosive plays, but the only way to really score today was sustaining drives, methodically moving the football, and Vandy just didn't have the players to do it. They just didn't have it, and they're a dysfunctional mess. But South Carolina took advantage. So that's the the big takeaway. And again, it's the confidence building win you needed going into Kentucky at home at night, and then of course the Clemson game. So all in all, man, that was a fun one to your point. And I think a lot of folks probably found their joy today.
Yeah, and then one thing I got on this is people want to call in, but I do think I wouldn't say I'm overconfident heading into the game against Kentucky next week, but I really do think, it being at home and at night, and I mean, and the fact that it was at home to begin with, you've got a real shot to beat Kentucky.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, that'll be a fun one, man. We'll talk about it all week. That'll be a really fun one.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. All right, dude, I'll get out of here and let other people call in, but that was fun. That's all I wanted to say.
John Everett, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate the call. Guys, really quickly before we get to our next caller, per Shane Beamer in the post-game press conference, Juju McDowell suffering a broken collarbone. He is out for the remainder of the season. So, running back depth, all of a sudden becoming a real issue for South Carolina. Of course, Mario Anderson, RB1, but it sounds like it's going to have to be Dontavius Braswell as RB2. And beyond that, Bradley Dunn, Nathan Harris-Wainick. I mean, you're really digging at the bottom of the barrel of the roster. So it's unfortunate. Juju McDowell has been a good weapon for South Carolina at times, but broken collarbone. He will miss the remainder of the season. With that being said, guys, we open it back up, 843-790-3377. I mean, again, guys, I very joyous. That there was a lot of joy in watching that football game. I mean, it feels good to beat a Vandy team like that, a Vandy team that's not very good, that you should beat like that. I mean, Vanderbilt guys, again, as they have not been good. You heard Jake Crane say it. You heard me say it. You heard people all throughout the week say it. And you did what you needed to do and what you should have done. Here we go. We'll jump to the phone lines here.
Call from
Panic Ritter.
To accept, press 1.
Panic Ritter, you're on the air.
Hey, I'm glad we won. Let's remember, it's Vanderbilt. They're not that good. I'm just like next week, we're going to have trouble stuffing because Kentucky has a good running back. And Levy, or whatever his name is, he's decent. I'm worried he's going to make him into an all-star. And we'll be all right back to St. Farr play line next week. So let's take it one game at a time.
Thank you for the perspective, Panic Ritter. You're the man. Good stuff. Good stuff from Panic Ritter. Appreciate Panic Ritter calling in. Guys, phone lines are open once again, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377. Again, a complete team win. Love to see Beamer Ball. Beamer Ball, finally.
Call from
Zach from Irma.
Zach from Irmo, you're on the air.
What's up, dude?
What's going on, man?
Shit, I got all right, I'm happy about the win. Glad that the offense exploded a little bit. Really wish that Leggett had held on to a few more of those balls and we might have been talking 250, even higher maybe. Dropped a couple of them, but he plays hard. But here's my critique right here. Marcellus Dial tackles like he is bitch made. I hate seeing, like, I watch him every play. Have you noticed that at all?
I mean, I know tackling has been an issue for everybody defensively. I mean, it's been sloppy. I have not. I mean, I've seen Marcellus Dial at separate occasions for sure. I mean, I won't use your phrasing. I would say that he tackles like a defensive back. He tackles like a corner.
True.
Man. They don't. I don't think corners typically are like your best tacklers. We'll just put it that way. So, but I mean, to your point, there's no excuse.
Agree.
But, yeah.
I've seen him several times. He's got a beeline on somebody, and it's like he lowers his head and just goes in there, or he dives at the feet, and I'm just pulling my hair out, man. I'm like, oh, it just makes me so mad. But anyway, it was a great game, and I'm glad. I was hoping to see Lenor Sellers get in maybe a drive before, but that was pretty sweet.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun, man. Again, when you can empty the bench like that and get a lot of different guys playing time and pad the stats and a blowout W, that's where you want to be. That's where you want to be. So, my man, I appreciate the call. Really good stuff.
Oh, yeah, I appreciate you taking it. Thanks, man. Have a good one.
Yeah, man, we'll talk soon. Good stuff. Good stuff. 843-790-3377. Guys, again, continue to flood the voicemail line. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in. When I say that, too, I really mean it because, listen, I know it's going to be really, really easy to tune in after the Kentucky game and certainly after Clemson, but those of you who went to the game, those of you who are tuning in right now, those of you who are calling in, the diehards, right? Not everybody pays attention to the game against Vandy. The diehards do, though, and I really, truly do appreciate that. Also, something I want to mention, by the way, that should not go unnoticed. South Carolina's effort in a porous weather game like that. You know what I mean? Like, it would have been very easy to kind of just go through the motions and win that game 23-6, or you know what I mean? Just kind of get the job done. And like, oh my, we don't want to be out here. It's cold, it's wet, like whatever. Give credit to South Carolina's football team for not having that mindset. I think that should not go unnoticed. Here we go. We'll jump to the phone lines here.
Brandon Parnell.
What's going on, man? You're on the air.
Hey, Chris, how you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, man. How are you?
Man, I'm doing all right. I just wanted to start off by saying I've listened to you since you started. You know Gamecock football like any other guy I've ever met in my entire life. So I give props to you, and especially baseball too, because that's the main two sports I follow.
Mm-hmm.
So I give you props for that. You know what you're doing.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
But the two questions I have for you is, how does Mario Anderson become a full-time starter in the offensive game? Because what I've seen during this Vanderbilt game, he is a big back.
Mm-hmm.
He runs the ball. He knows how to get through the defense. And I may be wrong. A lot of people might disagree with me, and a lot of people might agree with me. But he reminds me a lot of Marcus Lattimore. He was a big back. He knows how to get through there, gets down to where he needs to get to, and goes after it. So that's the one question I want to know about. And the second question is, do we have enough for Kentucky and Clemson to get bowl eligible? I'm glad you took my call. I appreciate it. And I'll let you talk and do your thing.
I appreciate you calling in, my friend. Thank you so much. And great questions, by the way.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. First question about Mario Anderson. I don't know that I'd compare him to Marcus Lattimore. That's a pretty bold comparison, but Mario Anderson is without a doubt this team's RB1. Now the question should be, why did it take so long to realize that he was the RB1? But I mean, that run he had, keeping the feet moving. If there's anybody he reminds me of, guys, and maybe y'all can push back on me if you don't agree, but like he reminds me of Kevin Harris. He reminds me a little bit of Kevin Harris. Just a big body dude, bowling ball, wasn't a highly regarded prospect, obviously, and runs with that chip on his shoulder for sure. So I kind of see some Kevin Harris there. So, I mean, again, Mario Anderson, I think everybody knows he's RB1. He's the bell cow back. Does South Carolina have enough to beat Kentucky and Clemson? Do they? Yeah, I think they have enough. Will they? I don't know. It is going to be a different challenge. I know Kentucky got blasted today. I know that. But it's going to be a different challenge these next 2 weeks than what Jacksonville State and Vandy have presented. Let's just call it what it is, right? It's going to be a different challenge. The thing you love about the Kentucky matchup is, they're coming off a beatdown to Alabama. And it's like, okay, they lost to Alabama, no big deal. But I mean, when you go through that physical beating and the mental beating too, you wonder where the confidence level of Kentucky is. Also, that game is at home at night. So you like your chances with a home Spencer Rattler under the lights at Williams-Brice Stadium. And then the Clemson game, guys, I mean, all bets are off. All bets are off. And I'm sure many of you will remind me what I said a week ago on these airwaves that many folks ran wild with, right? Our friends over at Garnet and Black Traditions had some fun with. But I stand by it. And I don't know what we'll do. Maybe we'll do something. It's sort of a bet, $1,000 if South Carolina gets to 6 wins. I'm sure many of you will remind me of that bet. And I'd love to be wrong. I'd love for South Carolina to get to that 6-win mark. After this time last week, I was frustrated. Didn't have a lot of joy. This is a game you needed to somewhat, hey, it feels like you maybe righted the ship. I know it's Vandy, guys. Hey, listen, Vandy's not a good team. They're not. They're not good at all. Just because you beat Vandy doesn't mean you're ready to go take on Georgia. But you did what you were supposed to do. That's it. And that's what you needed. You needed that, right? You did what you were supposed to do. Give credit where credit's due. You can take that now, build momentum. Now you've won 2 in a row. All of a sudden, you're feeling good about yourself or better than you did. And now, right, Kentucky and Clemson, I mean, who knows? Who knows? I mean, are you bet against South Carolina on their home field at night at your own risk? That's all I'm saying. So, guys, phone lines are back open, 843-790-3337, 784-379-0337. Would love to hear from you. A great win for South Carolina for a team that was struggling, obviously, even after Jacksonville State. That was a good win. That was nice.
Mark,
you're on the air.
hey, what's going on, Chris? I love your show, man. Love what you're doing, first of all.
Thank you.
Appreciate everything you do.
Thank you.
Keep us informed.
I just have one statement. I think that basically, I don't think it's about the fact that we beat Vandy. This was a complete win from the offense, defense, special teams. I think it's a game that we needed going into this last stretch, man. So I think it's a good confidence builder they can build on. And, like I said, I think we have a good shot at Kentucky. We're hitting them at the right time. They're kind of limping into the game. But, like I said, I think we can find some happiness in beating them 47-6. I don't care who is beating. So, that's just what I got to say about it.
Dare I say we can?
Thank you for taking my call.
I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Yeah, thank you so much for the call. I was going to say, dare I say that we can find some joy in the 47-6 win? No, listen, a joyous Saturday. I'm someone that last week, right, I did not have a lot of joy in victory. I did not, admittedly, right? And so I came off as somewhat of a hypocrite because I'm normally telling you guys, hey, listen, it's guaranteed you're going to be miserable in the defeats. So when your team wins, be able to find some joy. You win like that.
Call from
Will from Dirty Myrtle.
Hard not to be joyous. Will from Dirty Myrtle, you're on the air.
I found some joy, Chris.
You found some joy. I love to hear that.
I did, man. What a game. What a good game. First off, I want to give kudos to the defense because, we've been ripping them all year. They haven't played great today. They actually played well, and all I've heard all week is how Vanderbilt was second in the SEC in explosive plays, and I don't think they had one play over 30 yards against us. So good, kudos for that. Secondly, Spencer Rattler. I mean, what is there to say? At home, I don't think there's a better quarterback right now in the country if you just look at what he does when he's playing at Willie B. Just an amazing year for that guy, along with Xavier Legette. Mario Anderson, once again, another long run. I don't know how many he's got, but he's got 3 or 4 over 50, I think, this year. And then lastly, a little glimpse into the future. And man, the Sellers look special. It just makes you want to, just get real excited for next year because, man, that guy, I feel like he could be, one of the greats for South Carolina. And it was nice to see him get in there and make some plays. But yeah, just a good win. And I feel like we got a shot next week, man. This sets us up well. And then, going into next week, we needed something like this and we did it. And I'm happy, man. And I want to be happy. I don't want to be miserable. I don't think any of us do as Gamecock fans, contrary to sometimes what Beamer thinks. We want to be happy, and we're happy today. And that's it, Chris. Later, bro.
Well, you're the man. I appreciate it. Really good stuff. It's funny. I was just thinking, I was kind of having deja vu there. Like, Will called in after the Furman game earlier in the year, and a lot of the comments he made then, it felt very similar, right? Especially like the Lenore Sellers stuff. Yeah, I mean, just a complete team win, man. It was a win. You needed to win a game like that, beat Vandy like that, right? I mean, there was nothing. Listen, people may think there was nothing to gain by winning that way. Whatever. It's just Vandy. But I tell you what, if that game would have been 17-6, we'd feel a lot differently right now. So, hey, you take that blowout win. You get the Lenor Sellers touchdown late, man. That's a feel-good thing, right? It makes you feel good about the future and what Lenor Sellers can be and the spark he could provide a Gamecocks ball. And guys, again, the biggest thing about that Vandy win, who cares? You won the game by 41. If you'd have won it by 51, 61, 71, whatever. It's about the momentum you built in the football game. That's the biggest thing. Casey, you're on the air.
Hey, Chris, good to finally get through. Just want to say great win. We took care of business. That was Vandy. We were supposed to beat Vandy like that, and we took care of it. And what I think we need to do the rest of the year, we need to look at these next 2 games as basically bowl games. We're definitely going to have at least one bowl game this year, and that's the Palmetto Bowl. And if we just use that as motivation, next week, Clemson game, you look at those bowl games, get hyped up for them and beat them, then we're going to a real bowl game. And I'd love to see us use Lenor Sellers in these next 2 games as a little wrinkle. I don't know if that would mess up his red shirt or not, but great win.
Indeed. I think he'd be good, actually. I think that he's got 2 more to play and keep the red shirt. So if he played those 2 and then play the bowl game, he would lose it. So it'll be interesting to see how they figure that out. But definitely hope we see more Sellers down the stretch contributing in a positive way, no doubt.
Yeah, thanks. All right, man. Thanks for the time.
Hey, man, appreciate you. Yeah, man, thank you. Good stuff, guys. I don't know if you can hear, but we got the dogs in the studio, the Rally Puppies. They're excited for the W. They're excited. Guys, phone lines are open once again. I don't know if Sellers plays the next 2 weeks. It seems like they're going to play him in garbage time, but I will say this. What'll be really, really intriguing is that if South Carolina is able to make a bowl game, I think you see Lenor Sellers start that football game because I think Spencer Rattler will be gone to the NFL. I could be wrong, but it seems like he'd probably make the decision, okay, I'm going to go get ready for the draft. Could be time for Lenor Sellers. Could be time for Lenor Sellers. Guys, phone lines are open once again if you guys want to chime in. Get your thoughts out there. Again, guys, I want to give credit to South Carolina's football team just for overcoming the conditions at Williams-Brice Stadium, right? It was – this team very easily could have just said, yeah, it's cold, it's rainy, I don't feel good, right? Let's just go out there and do what we got to do to get by and get enough and go win that game 23-6. But to see this team keep the foot on the gas pedal and actually be better in the second half, actually turn things up in the second half, a lot of football in situations like that, in conditions like that, it's about will. It's about want to, right? It's about who's the team that's more excited to play and excited to be there? And that team was South Carolina, and they imposed their will. And so, again, I don't think that's something that should be glossed over. Let's jump to the lines here. Brandon, you're on the air.
Hey, Chris, I called in earlier about Mario Anderson and what the defense, what we got left to go against them. Mm-hmm. For Kentucky and Clemson, but I just had to say that I left one thing out. Lenor Sellers, he played 30, 40 minutes down the road from me. I live in Darlington, so I watched him play at South Lawrence, and I think he's a good quarterback. Mm-hmm. And I just want to get your thoughts on him and what he's got for the future of this program. And I know that his brother Thursday or either Wednesday, I can't remember, but either Wednesday or Thursday, his brother committed to South Carolina. So I just want to get your thoughts on Lenor Sellers too and what this future has for him as a quarterback.
Yeah, I'm excited for Lenor Sellers, man. And obviously, yeah, his brother committed. As long as they can get protection around him, right? They can get some weapons around him, they can get him some protection, right? That's what it's going to come down to. There's nothing that Lenor Sellers could have done this season that Spencer Rattler has not done. So let's make that very clear, right?
Right.
The only thing that would have helped Spencer Rattler out is a better offensive line. And that's the thing that's held South Carolina back offensively. Granted, they've been really good, but Lenor Sellers has got all the talent in the world. He's a big body, physical dude, true dual threat quarterback. I mean, that's obviously something that he's got that a guy like Rattler does not have. But they got to get weapons around him. But as long as they do that, if they can do that, if the Great Wall of Carolina pans out and these offensive linemen work out, there's no reason why Lenor Sellers can't be one of the best to ever do it at South Carolina. So, we'll see.
And I totally agree with you on that. I mean, I watched him play in high school, and he's a good dual threat quarterback. And I'm not knocking Spencer Rattler for nothing because he is a damn good quarterback. And a lot of people, I've got a lot of Clemson fans that they keep telling me in my ear that he ain't worth a shit. And I'm like, yeah, hell, y'all ain't doing so good neither. But I mean, he's a pretty good quarterback. But I mean, I think Lenor, he's going to be all right. South Carolina. I think he's going to push this program to where it needs to be. Spencer, yes, I love him to death, but he doesn't have what he needs to get him there. But I totally agree with you 100%.
No doubt, man. I appreciate the call. Thank you so much. Really good stuff. Well said. Guys, again, I look at it this way. Lenor Sellers has all the tools. He's next up for sure. He is the guy. I mean, I think that it will not surprise me if Shane Beamer and company, you keep an open competition, right? You're not just going to hand a guy the starting quarterback job, but all I know is this: Lenor Sellers is making big plays, and Luke Doty is playing wide receiver. I don't think there's even a question. There's not even a controversy. There's not even a debate of who QB1 is going to be entering the spring, in my opinion, and it's Lenor Sellers for sure. Guys, phone lines are back open. Again, how can you watch Lenor Sellers and not be excited for the future? You've got the Great Wall of Carolina still on the way. If you can shore up the defense, if you can add some weapons, you look at what Lenor Sellers provides, the true dual threat capabilities, right? An athleticism and a physicality that I don't know when's the last time we've seen that. The future could be very bright at South Carolina. The future could be very, very bright. Guys, again, phone lines are open. Want to hear from you, 843-790-3337. Tim, and we will take calls until there are no more calls to take here on this Saturday, November the 11th. Gamecocks move to 4-6, get their second SEC win of the season. Back-to-back wins for the first time all season long. Just going through some stats. Spencer Rattler, 28 of 36, 351, guys. 351. 3 touchdowns, had the 1 pick in that ball game. Let me make sure the phone lines are actually open. Mario Anderson, 9 carries for 102 yards, had that long 72-yarder. Here we go. We'll jump back to the phone lines.
Call from
Joseph.
Joseph, you're on the air.
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's going on? And he hangs up. Okay. Joseph, for whatever reason, decided to hang up. We'll try to get Joseph back on the line. All right, here we go.
Call from
Randy.
Randy, you're on the air.
Hey, Mr. Chris, great show, good win. Man, great crowd for, the weather and all. Hearing the Gamecock chant on TV was pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted to give a shout out to Lamont Paris's basketball team last night, man. Everybody's been giving him hell forever, And like, they're not going to be any better. They're not going to be any better. I'm like, damn, they got a bunch of three-point shooters. They got a bunch of old guys. Hell, they played pretty tough last night. So the football team was awesome today. Spencer Rattler was 28 to 36, and I think his 7 incompletions or 8 incompletions, 6 of them were drops.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then he threw a pick.
Mm-hmm.
So he was basically perfect, almost. But the damn defense showed up. I mean, hell, it's just it's been a good week for Gamecock sports, women's soccer, everything. Everybody's winning, so it's a good feel right now.
Mm-hmm. Well said, Randy. I love.
I will let you go.
No, I love that.
I know you're busy.
I love that you brought up basketball, man. We definitely need to discuss it at least briefly here on these airwaves. We'll talk about it more Monday, but I appreciate the call, man. And to Randy's point, that was a great win. We got the dogs going crazy in here. That was a great win, though, for Lamont Paris's team. Truly, I mean, Virginia Tech. It's early in the season, and who knows what anybody's going to be, but what Mike Young and Vatek and what they've done and built. And I mean, for Lamont Paris's squad, that one thing's for certain, this team is far more fun to watch than last year. They've got some real veteran guys, some big-time contributors, some big-time shooters. And, I think South Carolina could give some people some headaches and make a run this year. Who knows? Who knows? Guys, phone lines are still open, 843-790-3377. Everybody got an opinion in here. Everybody yelling in here. Anyways, great day for the Garnet and Black. Great day for the Garnet and Black. Again, guys, I've said it many times, but in those conditions, you got to give South Carolina's team a lot of credit for attacking that thing the right way, especially in the second half. Could have very easily just went through the motions in that ball game. And, to do what you did in the second half, I think it shows a lot about the team. So South Carolina now, Kentucky and Clemson await. and it'll be a different challenge. It'll be a much different challenge than what Vandy and Jacksonville State presented, but a great opportunity, man. A great opportunity to win out and get to 6 wins. And I mean, guys, at this point, again, you don't move the goalposts. Nobody's going to sit here and say that a 6-6 finish is going to be a success by any means. But I tell you, to win 4 in a row, especially if you do it beating Kentucky and Clemson, obviously, that's going to be a hell of an achievement based off where the season was. Again, guys, we'll keep it open for a few more minutes. We have any more calls come in? Again, I see you all in the chat. Thank you all so much. Also, those who are in the Discord, thank you all so much for chiming in. We had a great time in the Discord talking Gamecocks football. Yeah, night game against Kentucky is absolutely massive, guys. By the way, if you're tuned in on YouTube and you're not subscribed, be sure you hit that subscribe button on YouTube, hit that bell icon so you get notifications of when we go live and we drop new video content as well. Also, be sure you hit the subscribe button on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcast. We drop podcasts daily there under the name The Spurs Up Show. We'd love for you guys to tune in. Hey, this post-game call-in show will drop via podcast form tomorrow morning at 5 a.m. Eastern time. So you can look forward to that, guys. We'll go ahead and jump back to the phone lines.
Call from
D.
You're on the air. What's going on?
Hey, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well.
Good. I was just calling you just to see. I wish we would have had the Florida game. We had it, let it go. But I know it would have been a different situation because I would feel better about the 6 games because you could split between Kentucky and Clemson. But I just called to ask you. I mean, Kentucky season didn't go the way they wanted to. You know, just got blown out by Alabama. You know, do you think their mindset could possibly be, well, the season's over and we sneak one? And watching Clemson today, the scary thing is because of Tyler, now a program that was dead has kind of woke up just to prove a point.
Mm-hmm.
So that game, it didn't scare me 2 weeks ago, but it does kind of scare me now. But I definitely feel confident about the Kentucky game just because it just didn't go the way they wanted their season to go, especially after the Georgia game. So I'll take it off of air. Just want to hear how you feel about that.
D, I appreciate the call and appreciate the questions, my friend. Thank you so much. And to D's point, you know, I think this time of year, late in season, you do start to question some teams' motivation, you know, the motivation factor of, okay, the season hasn't gone quite the way you want it. Heck, you could have said that about South Carolina coming in a game like this or what have you. So obviously we see that the Gamecocks have not mailed it in. I think they're still excited, you know, the opportunity to get to a bowl game, to get to 6 wins, what have you. You know, for Kentucky, I mean, they're 6-4. I mean, the thing about Kentucky is they could still go 8-4 with 2 really, really good wins to close out the season. They've got South Carolina. They've got Louisville, of course. They could also finish 6-6, right? So I don't know. I don't know if I'd go as far as to say I expect Kentucky to come in and be, you know, unmotivated. Not like that is a real bad sign for your program and your culture. If your team's mailing it in with 2 to go and you're 6-4. So I think Kentucky comes in, gives South Carolina the best shot. You know, what he was talking about the Florida game. I mean, listen, he's right. He's right, though. He's absolutely right. That one is the one that still stings. That's why I labeled it the most important game of the season. You know, you're 4-6 right now. 5-5 would feel a lot different, right, than 4-6, obviously. But outside of that, guys, I mean, listen, you've got Kentucky at home at night. Darude, I said Darude with Chris Marlowe. That was so wrong. Darude's going to be in town, right? They're going to be playing Sandstorm before the game. I mean, you know, bet against South Carolina at your own peril. And then, you know, especially if Clemson's a night game. All bets are off. So it's going to be a fun next 2 weeks for sure. It's going to be a fun next week. But the opportunity's there. The opportunity's certainly there for South Carolina. Guys, phone lines are back open, 843-790-3377. That's 843-790-3377 here on this Saturday afternoon. Great Saturday, by the way, of college football. Great Saturday of college football, guys. Mizzou, Tennessee is taking place right now. There's Georgia, Ole Miss tonight. There's Florida, LSU, of course. Michigan's already beaten Penn State. A lot of good football. Here we go. We'll jump back to the phone lines.
Call from
Dallas Jr.
What's going on, man? You're on the air.
Hey, Chris. Thanks for taking my call. How you doing?
I'm doing well, my friend. How are you?
Doing good. Just wanted to say, had a good time at the game. It was rocking tonight. Kind of froze my toes off. Thought the defense played well, but Clayton White's still not safe. Ready for Kentucky next weekend. Kind of got two questions for you. With Juice not playing, you think he might redshirt or come back next year? Or you think he's better off in the NFL?
That's the $1,000,000 question, man. Will Juice Wells come back? I mean, we'd have to go inside of the mind of three to figure out what he's thinking. But, he's just flat out going to have a decision to make. And, I mean, here's the thing, though. With NIL, why not? You know what I mean? Why not?
Yeah,
you can come back and make a bag and try it again, try your hand at being a top 2 or 3 round pick. I mean, why not? So I think there's definitely an argument that he could come back next year.
I think with him seeing what Lenor did tonight, and maybe, I don't know, I don't think Lenor will play no more this season, but it'll be big for us. Thanks for taking my call. Love your show.
Hey, appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for the call. And again, I mean, does Juice Wells come back next year? That's going to be a big time question, a big time question mark. And if he does, man, that would be huge. Lenor Sellers throwing to Juice Wells, throwing to Nick Harbor. I mean, so. Anyways, guys, want to hear from you, Gamecocks. Get the big 47-6 victory over the Vanderbilt Commodores. And again, guys, it was pure domination in every aspect. You know, we talked about guys like Will Shepard and Jaden McGowan being the top targets for Vandy. Will Shepard, 1 catch for 6 yards. Jaden McGowan, 1 catch for 3 yards. Just completely neutralized the Vanderbilt passing attack. Not much more for the Doors on the ground. I mean, 130 rushing yards, but a lot of those, I think, came in junk time. Just, again, pure domination. South Carolina offensively, defensively, and yes, even in special teams. How about that? Gamecocks win the turnover battle 2-1. And again, you get a block punt too. That to me, that counts as a turnover. So, yeah, I think that's actually including. No, never mind. That's including it. That's including the block punt. So, either way, guys, 843-790-3377. Really good win, guys. Good stuff. Really good stuff. We found our joy this week. So, again, we'll talk all things South Carolina, Kentucky this week. Of course, on Monday, guys, which in case you did not know, we do this every single day, Monday through Friday, noon to 2, taking your questions, comments, and voicemails on our airwaves. But we'll talk about this game in more depth and more detail on Monday. And then, of course, Tuesday, we'll start getting right into South Carolina and Kentucky. That's going to be a good one. That's going to be a really, really good one. A lot of fun. Night game at Willie B. You know, Gamecock Nation will show up and show out. And hopefully, it's not 50 degrees and raining at kickoff. So, guys, unless we have some calls come in the next minute or two, we'll go ahead and close this thing up. Listen, I know it's the Vandy game. There's not as much to talk about after you beat the Commodores by 41. By the way, somebody mentioned this, and I'm going to assume this is correct. Largest margin of victory over Vanderbilt in series history, 41 points that happened today. So, Gamecocks set a record in the victory And again, no matter the opponent, I think John Edward earlier in the show said it well. Listen, no matter the opponent, you feel good about this one. You build momentum, right? I'll bring in some perspective. It is Vanderbilt. You don't all of a sudden say South Carolina has fixed all of their woes and all of their issues because they beat Vandy, right? But for a team that just, after you barely beat Jacksonville State, guys, and Jacksonville State, I think we'd all agree now, would whoop Vandy. But after last weekend, when you won a game that it felt like it was an underwhelming win, it feels good to win a game and leave that game and say, you know what? You won that game how you were supposed to. That was a win that you dominated in all three phases. You did what you were supposed to do. You take those victories where you can get them, right? You take the victories where you can get them. And today I say, folks, dare I say, that it feels good to be good. I have not been able to say that much this season, but it feels good to be good. Truly. Might have to light up the Commodore pack after this one, right? Might have to light up a stogie just to celebrate the win. Because, guys, again, hey, you celebrate them where you can get them. That's it. That's it. So, guys, that being said, going once, going twice, the phone lines, nothing new. Okay, we'll go ahead and call it. Guys, thank you again so much for the love, support, all those who engaged, all those who called in, all of those who left your comments. Thank you all so much. Also, those guys who engage on social media throughout the game. Truly appreciate you all. Be sure you're on YouTube. And if you're not on YouTube, go to our YouTube, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon so you get notifications of when we go live, when we drop new video content as well. Also, guys, go to iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, wherever you get your podcasts. The post-game call-in show will drop via podcast tomorrow morning. And, of course, guys, we drop pods every single day on iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, at the Spurs Up Show. That's where you can find us there. And, of course, guys, stay tuned to everything we're doing on social media, content bleeding out of the eyeballs there. And, guys, lastly, I will leave you with this. Feels good to be good. A big momentum-building win over the Vanderbilt Commodores. I don't care who the opponent is. A 41-point win. A feel-good, a get-right type of win. And now, hey, all you could have asked for as a Gamecock fan is the opportunity to go into Kentucky and Clemson with a shot at a bowl game. And guess what? This football team's got it. So, UK at night, Clemson, we'll see. Chance to get to 6-6. We'll take one final call here.
From
Dallas Jr.
Dallas Jr., you snuck one in right before we jumped off here, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, just have one more question. Thanks for taking my call again.
Yeah.
Okay, so we went out these next two games. I just want to know if we get to these 6 wins, what bowl do you think we might make? What's your bowl prediction for where we might go?
So it's Dallas Jr. I appreciate the question, man. Really good stuff, and I appreciate the call. The bowl game more than likely would be the Gasparilla. Or what's the bowl game in is Gasparilla? Gasparilla's in Tampa, right? What's the one in Shreveport? It's probably, hey, like JC Sherwood says, grind for the Gasparilla, right? Grind for the Gasparilla. You're either going to spend your holidays at the Gasparilla Bowl in Tampa, in Birmingham, or in Shreveport. It's going to be one of those. It'll depend on, whole Independence Bowl. How did I not know that? Independence Bowl. Yeah, so maybe the Independence Bowl, maybe the Gasparilla Bowl. But, guys, listen, the big thing will be this, and we can talk about it when it happens, but you get to 6 wins, you get to bowl eligibility, you cannot put a price tag on those 15 practices that South Carolina will get to continue to develop, to continue to grow. You're going to have opt-outs, right? You're going to have opt-outs, guys, getting ready for the draft. Maybe Spencer Rattler does the same. You're going to have an opportunity to develop some young guys, develop a Lenor Sellers. That time you get in practice time, it's invaluable. It's invaluable. So There's a lot on the line. I mean, it's not going to make this season a success. It's not going to make, the 2023 season wildly memorable if you get to 6-6, but there's a lot of value for this program getting to a bowl game, and what you would hope is the worst year of the Shane Beamer era. I think that would be an accomplishment to at least say, you know what? We had our worst year, and we still made it to bowl eligibility. That's at least a positive. That's a small victory. Guys, again, that being said, okay, we're done. I'm done. We're good. We're going to get out of here, guys. Again, thank you all so much. Hit that subscribe button, YouTube, iTunes, Spotify, Google Podcasts, via podcast, video, all that good stuff, guys. Be sure you're following us everywhere. And the beauty's in the banter, man. Stay tuned to all the content bleeding out of the eyeballs. We'll do this again on Monday and all throughout the week, and cannot wait to chat with you guys. And again, guys, thank y'all so much for tuning in. The love, the support. TSUS would not be what it's becoming without your love and support. Guys, enjoy the rest of your college football Saturday. Appreciate each and every single one of you tuning in, and we will talk to you all on Monday.